With all the controversy going on with Skinny Joey Merlino, is he still on top today? We're going to look at everything that's went on this year with Skinny Joey Merlino, and also what's we expect to be happening next year. There's a lot of rumors about him. There's a lot of predictions about him. Some people say he's going to jail. Other people say that he's going to be the boss again of the Philly crime family. So I'm going to answer those questions. Is he going to be the boss in the next year or two? And was he actually shelved? There's so much controversy and questions about Joey Merlino. He's a captivating figure, but he's also one of these people that is he just creates an emotional response, either love or hatred. There's just no in between with him. And so it's just been really interesting to see him this year. Usually when people come out here on YouTube or social media, they'll grow, or they end up getting comfortable in their surroundings. But to be honest, I mean, Joey Merlino is the same person today that he was on day one when he got on social media. So, with all of that said, please do me a favor and hit the like button. If you've not subscribed to Real Mob Stories with James Proctor, please consider doing so. And without further delay, on to our feature presentation. So, Joey Merlino, this year has just been a really interesting year. I have to say, it's always interesting when it comes to him. I mean, there's a lot that, for me, when you look at him and you compare him with some of these other folks that are here on YouTube, I don't think that you can compare him with anybody out there. And, we've got this guy that was the crime boss of Philadelphia for 30 years, and now he's on social media. I mean, he's really in his comfort zone being around people. That's something that I can tell about Joey Merlino, the same way that John Gotti was. They both like being around people, and and that's almost a detriment to what they do as being a part of a mafia or crime family, because the crime family, the mafia, the mob, it's a secret society. You have a murta. You're not supposed to say anything. No one's supposed to even know. You operate in the shadows. But you have people like Joey Merlino. You have people like John Gotti, and many others, even like Frank Costello. Going back, they like being around people, and so that has caused some controversy. There's a lot of rumors. I mean, we have rumors that he's been shelved, but at the same time, we also have predictions that he's going to be once again the boss of Philly, of the Philly crime family. So, what's the truth? I mean, what's up with all that? There are a lot of mob tension when we talk about Joey Merlino. We can say that. And is that going to continue into 2025? So, let's just kind of step it back to the beginning of 2024. And so he started off on YouTube, and then he went on to Patreon. And yeah, I think that's been something that's worked well for him, because he hasn't went totally away from YouTube. He still does shows. They do segments. So basically I call them teaser segments. And it's the thing is that he's able to get his message across through YouTube, through Instagram, Facebook, pretty much everything, TikTok. And but then if you want to see all the content, then you would pay a premium on Patreon. And so my understanding is he's got a lot of subscribers. I would say that uh, that Joey's probably in second place behind Mikey Scars for number of paid subscribers. And so, I expect that to continue in 2025. And I don't see Joey Merlino going anywhere. A lot of people think he's going to end up back in prison, or they think that he's going to revert back to some sort of, criminal enterprise. But I think that he sees YouTube and social media as a creative outlet for him, and he seems to really enjoy that. So, I expect that to continue as we move forward. So, the controversy really started, I think, when it came to Sonny Francis and Michael Francis. And Sonny Francis, he's beloved by just about everyone. If there's a man's man, that would be Sonny Francis. He spent nearly 50 years in prison, and he lived to be 103. And we actually interviewed a couple of times Sandra Petty. She's the person that did his biography, wrote his book, and was around him for at least 12, um, you know, 12 times of like an hour or more each time. And so she spent a lot of time with Sonny Francis. And the thing was, he was a stand up guy. And the thing was, is that Joey said that he was a rat because he allowed his sons, Michael and John, to come around. And I don't think he really allowed John to come around. John did come around once, and they had a short conversation. And pretty much, Sonny said, you better get out of here. But obviously, he loved his kids, and with Michael. uh, I mean, the thing is that we know that he testified against Norby Walters. We know all of that. And at the same time, he did leave the mob. And it was my understanding, from when I interviewed Michael, that he still got along well with Andrew Mush Russo, who was the boss of the family. And he died, I don't know, a year or two ago, but they were going to actually, Sonny and Michael were actually going to, go to dinner with, Andrew Mush Russo. And so, I think it's a different situation with Michael, but at the same time, a lot of people were upset that Joey would dare to call Sonny Francis a rat. And, I didn't think that was the right move. I don't see Sonny that way. Sonny was, 103 years old. I mean, you're not going to be the same person that you were when you were, 50, 60, or even 80 years old. And so, I just think we have to give, Sonny Francis a break. And it does not change anything that I think about him. I think that he's definitely up there as a man's man. He took his time as a man. He never ratted. And um, you know, someone in that life, that's the person you'd want to be, is based on, how he acted and how he behaved around people. So, I thought that was definitely was something that I thought was going to maybe hurt Joey a little more. But at the same time, what it did was, I think it just reinforced what people thought. You had people that love Joey Merlino, and they continue to love him even though he did that. He's kind of like Trump, where he can kind of do what he can, say things and do things, and it doesn't necessarily cause people just to step away from him or to turn their back on him for whatever reason. And so, you know, the thing is with Joey, he's going to always be the same. Like I said, he has not changed from day one. And then, we had the interview with um we had that interview with Vlad, and I'll be honest, my opinion, it was a boring interview. It did not reveal much. I thought Vlad did pretty good on it. A lot of times I feel that Vlad's not prepared for these interviews, but he was very prepared for the interview with Joey. It's just that, Joey was not going to pretty much admit to anything. and it pretty much played out the way that I thought it would. And so, it was what it was. And then later had more controversy with him when he went after John Gotti Jr. And that's definitely, I think you're kind of you know, treading on some bad ground when you do that, because you have half the people out there, they love the Gottis. They see John Gotti Jr. as a great person. They don't see him as a rat. You know, we we know about the 302. He's talked about in his book, so it's nothing new. From what I can see, no one got in trouble over that. And it's basically stuff about people that were already gone for the most part, and nothing that came out of that 302 was used in any sort of trial. And so for me, I thought that was I was a little surprised that he would go after uh, John Guy Jr. But at the same time, what I know about Joey is that he's been burned so many times by informants that he's just tired of them. That's why I think that he really does have this mission to expose the rats, go after these people that are are liars, that they testify against people, because he had that happen to him. Joey spent a lot of time in prison, and he's definitely been a survivor. He's went through a lot. He got shot. He lost his best friend, and so he was in the war, the Philly Wars, and so I think when you look at Joey Merlino, a lot of what's happened in his past is what has caused Joey to have kind of this hard exterior about him. But at the same time, he's also someone that's charismatic, and he likes to be around people. So then, there's all the controversy being thrown out there about him being out on social media. Supposedly, the Genovese family and the Gambinos were upset that there were meetings going on regarding Joey Merlino, and maybe there was some, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it just, to me, it's strange that New York would even be concerned about what's going on with Philadelphia, especially in 2024. I mean, there's so much more that's happening. It's kind of funny that Jerry Capisi was mentioning how Joey Merlino was basically shelved, but it just doesn't appear that way, because Joey still is around the same people he has always been around. Also, about 2 weeks ago, he was at Rayo's there in East Harlem. He walks where he wants to, and doesn't seem like anything is happening to him. The only thing that we did have was, he was trying, he's got that cheesesteak uh, restaurant, and we had at least one or maybe two attempts to basically catch it on fire. There was Molotov cocktails thrown in the window in one case. I mean, the fire really didn't do much damage, but was that a message being sent? That's something we don't know. It was a very amateurish type job that was done. So maybe it was just kids that were doing that. But there was a lot of talk that maybe it was a message being sent to Joey Merlino. So, I don't think he was shelved. I think if anything, he left on his own. I do think that he likes what he's doing on social media. There's probably more opportunity on there, because that life is very difficult, very risky now. He's being watched all the time. Number one, number two. Besides the feds watching, you've got cameras everywhere. You can't get away with anything. And so I think for the for the most part, he sees being on social media and, being out in the public is a better way to, make a living than being part of that life. And it's nothing new because, he had the restaurant down in South Florida before. He was what a maitre d or whatever they call that down there back 2016, before he got pinched last time. He's down there a couple of years, and so he's used to being out in the public eye. And and so for me, I think it was probably natural that he was going to be on YouTube, on social media, because he enjoys being around people. And then, what's next with Joey Merlino going into 2025? We're hearing rumors that maybe he'll be the boss again. My opinion, I think that he's going to. I think he likes what he's doing. As long as the money's good, as long as he can um, do things as he is, I think he's going to continue with this. I don't think he wants to go down the path of risking going to prison again. I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean the world of Cosa Nostra is so much different today than it was back in the 90s. And so there was much more opportunity with unions. There's much more opportunities with different rackets back in the day. Now, a lot of the rackets are legal. Gambling's legal, sports betting's legal. Alcohol, even weed is legal in a lot of cases. So a lot of the things that you could make money on with vice back in the day, they're legal now. So, maybe I'm a little naive about it. But yeah, I just don't think that he's going to go back into any sort of criminal behavior. So, what do you think's going on? Do you think that Joey Merlino is planning on becoming the boss again of the Philly crime family? Do you think that that a year from now, Joey's still going to be here on YouTube and on social media? I mean, what's the chance of him going to prison again? I'd love to know what everyone thinks. Also, give me your thoughts on all the discussion about Joey Merlino and New York being upset and him getting shelved and all that. Do you think there's any truth in that, or do you think it's mostly made up controversy? For me, I have to say that Joey Merlino would be the gangster of the year in MobTube by far. It's because that everything that Joey does, it draws attention. He even had one of the last interviews of Pete Rose, the star baseball player. He died like, I don't know, a couple of weeks after the interview. It was like one of the last interviews that Pete Rose did. So, Joey Merlino, I think he's got 50,000 subscribers now. I mean, he's still growing his brand. He's got the cheesesteak thing. He's got a lot of different things they're looking at doing for the brand. And that's what you have to do. It's more than just a channel. If you're going to be successful um, on YouTube, you have to build a brand around that. And that's what he's doing, having products, having different things in place. Also, he's still involved with the charitable pursuits, the things at Thanksgiving, giving toys to kids on Christmas. And I'm not saying that I agree with everything that Joey Merlino does, but what I can say is that he's a person that's very interesting. He's a person that is controversial, but he's a person also that just really draws in people. So I think that he's going to continue to do that. He seems to be a natural, around behind the camera. For me, I'm not one to curse and do all that like he does, but it worked for him. So, you know, it's going to be what it is for him. So let me know your thoughts. I just wanted to kind of throw out here who I think is the gangster of the year in this mob YouTube thing, and let me know if you agree or not. And until next time, take care, stay safe, and God bless you always.